Hello, Krama history lovers. This video will give the true history of how darling Nikki's grape story became a topic of discussion. She brought it up to make herself the biggest victim and expert on the matter of abuse in the court system. She seems to always find a way to make herself the victim, even when she is the one who was clearly in the wrong and should have just apologized and bowed out gracefully.
So I was in bed listening to Nikki, dozing off, and then she says, "Hey, Miss Crazy," and then she says one of the most ignorant and pathetic and gross, uneducated, ill-informed, um, unintelligent things I have ever heard a person say in my entire fucking life. She is throwing this provocative message. Hey, Chantel. Hey, Drifter. She's throwing, hey, Emil, behave. She's throwing this, that's fine. Dave can snitch all he wants. She's throwing this provocative message out into the fray and hoping it sticks, right? Because she knows about things that I don't know about. I'm about to educate you, sweetheart, okay? I'm going to play a clip right now, guys. Yeah, I was the wrong one to go where she went with.
What she says, and I'm going to respond.
Or not. I'll tell you something. If you were on the receiving end of the things that people have had to be on the receiving end of from this person, you probably wouldn't be speaking so aggressively towards the person simply trying to protect herself. I used all the words. You just wouldn't.
Okay, let me go. I have to repeat that. I'm sorry. I want you guys to pay attention to where she says, if you were on the receiving end of what this person, was on, and she talks about protecting yourself, right? Let's listen to that.
That people the fuck up and just mind your own goddamn business. It does not matter what any of these people think is valid or not. I'll tell you something. If you were on the receiving end of the things that people have had to be on the receiving end of from this person, you probably wouldn't be speaking so aggressively towards the person simply trying to protect herself.
Okay, so Tiffany, if you're listening, let me just explain something to you. I was on the receiving end of far worse. When I say far worse, I'm referring to a man who spent 25 years in prison for what he did. Then he was deported. Okay, so if you're interested in knowing the details of it, look, there's an article, there's a ton of articles, but you can go ahead and Google Canada's most prolific rapist. Okay, go read that. Go read about that guy. That was me and a bunch of other women, but I was on the receiving end of some really foul shit. Also, my daughter had a stalker from the internet, but he lived like 40 minutes away, unfortunately. He's now in jail for 7 years. So when you say that maybe I shouldn't be talking about something that I don't know anything about, I feel like I kind of do know a little bit about, restraining orders, protection orders, protecting myself, protecting my daughter. I do, which is the very reason why I am against anyone abusing and weaponizing protection orders, restraining orders, stalking orders, the entire court system, the justice system, all of those things, because I've been there. I've been there as a woman, and I've been there as a mother. I've also been there as a child, but these are things that I know a lot about as far as, being someone who has experienced it. So, I'm not quite sure. Maybe you didn't know, and that's fine. That's, I get what you're saying. I understand your message. If you're saying it to someone else, if you're saying it to someone who does not know or doesn't understand, then I would agree with what you're saying. But I'm not being a bitch here. I'm just letting you know the reason why I feel so strongly about this specific issue. Because yes, I have been there. There are multiple people in this community that have abused the legal system in that way. 3 that I can think of. And absolutely, I'm against every single situation.
Okay, so I'm going to ignore the chat for a minute, but let me explain my point to Nikki since she clearly missed it. It was very simple. The commentary you were giving, you were telling things that you know nothing about. For instance, you were claiming that people were buying all of Jessica's kids' things and needs. They were providing for her kids, that she makes a lot of money on here. And you were very aggressively minimizing the whole reason behind she had to do what she had to do. The only reason you feel so strongly about this has nothing to do with your past. I'm very sorry to hear that you went through that. However, had this been any other female who was seeking out this PFA, you would not feel so strongly about this. I know this for a fact. You've proven that this is your kind of character that you have yourself. And you don't have a fucking first iota of the clue what you're talking about because you are blinded with bias. You are biased because you dislike her, because she responded to something filthy that you said about her in a manner that you didn't like. I'm still waiting on proof that she called you a pedo because that never happened. You can't prove it. That's why your evidence video is nothing but text on a screen that you wrote out because you can't prove any of the shit you claim she said or did. The fact of the matter is you made disparaging, sexually charged, disgusting remarks on your fucking panel with voices about a person who you don't even know. That was the point. The point is you have no point in the things that you're saying in regards to this. And so therefore, you're responding to something out of your own personal vengeful feelings and grievances and issues that you have with a person. It has nothing to do with the facts of what have gone on, what's happened, what has been done to her. Because you don't care, because it's her.